Hi guys, my name is Dan and welcome to the channel. In today's experiment we are going to compare the newest content that just came out for Automobilista 2, so Racin USA expansion pack and GTE class on two new tracks, Daytona and Long Beach. But for today we are going to mainly focus on one of my best cars, or one of my favorite cars on iRacing, so Porsche RSR GTE against the same one on Automobilista 2, and the comparison will be done on the new track of Daytona, which iRacing of course also has. So this might be interesting. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and now let's not waste any more time, so let's begin. The mighty RSR is one of the most interesting cars in sim racing. With its 520 horsepower and 1300 kilograms in weight, it's very similar to its GT3 version. It has more aero than GT3, a flat 6 engine, but the trick is it does not have ABS. This small difference really makes a huge impact, and the car is very challenging to master, but once you do it, it's really phenomenal to drive. It was born in 2017, especially designed for FIA World Endurance Championship, European Le Mans Series and the International Motorsport Association, better known as IMSA. So let us enjoy in sights and sounds of this phenomenal car around this beautiful Daytona track. Okay, so iRacing Porsche RSR GTE, one of my favorite cars, as I mentioned before. Such a difficult and challenging car to master, especially this track is very tricky. If I compare the two sims, I have to say right from the bat that this is much more challenging in terms of braking. You have to really nail this GT no ABS braking system, so you have to adjust. It's very difficult after you drive a lot of GT3 cars. Just to switch to this car class, you need to brake a little bit earlier, trail brake a little bit more. When exiting the corner, you really need to be easy on the throttle. Even though I've put a lot of traction control in this current setup, it's still very difficult. And please bear in mind, I haven't driven this for a while, especially on Daytona. So the handling is superb. This car is amazing. So it's a GT3 car on steroids. Only braking, as I said, is a little bit difficult, but once you master it, it's a really special car to be driving. You cannot compare the graphics, even though some people, me included, like how this graphics from iRacing look, but nowadays with Competizione and with Automobilista 2 in particular, those graphics should really be updated, and I hope they plan to do something in future. When I want to get more into more detail about handling, on iRacing this car feels sometimes very nervous, very twitchy, you know. It sometimes planted to the surface and you feel like it's on the railroad track, but then again it tends to surprise you sometimes. The good thing is if you don't run too high traction control setting, you can save it. The car gives you a lot of information when it will snap before it does. Once it does, it's over. But yeah, in that regard, it's really very intuitive when you drive it, but sometimes very nervous. People like to battle the car like this. I like it too, but you will see on Automobilista 2 it handles a little bit different. So let's not waste any more time, and let's see how it drives on Automobilista. And approaching the final straight for the first time in the Porsche RSR GTE on Automobilista 2. It feels very heavy, very heavy, but much different. Not so nervous as the one on iRacing, but that also has to have to do something with the setup. I'm staying here in second gear, so better turn in. Oof, very difficult. It's so different than on iRacing. So either iRacing or Razer Studios missed it completely. I have to be honest. This feels very well, very nicely done. I'm not even sure if the real car drives anything similar to this. So if it's realistic or not, hopefully some real driver or real race driver can tell us in future. But from what I can feel right now, you really get a lot through the wheel. So force feedback is really deep, so a lot of information. I'm using the Fanatec Elite wheelbase, so maybe you guys with better gear can get even more information out of this sim. But the car is much more stable, so it feels much more stable, not so aggressive when trying to turn in or when exiting the corner. I know that iRacing RSR is very difficult to drive. It's not the car you can easily just push to its limit or to your limit, it doesn't matter. But this car is very easy to handle. I'm really surprised. You see, I'm pretty early on throttle. Do not lose the rear end, so not a lot of oversteer here in second gear. On iRacing it was first gear, just to be able to rotate the car. I was full throttle there, going outside, so yeah, very stable. Traction control is here set at 5, on iRacing it was like 10. Again here, second gear, very easily turning in, rotating the car. Here, braking pretty late. Very easy on the throttle, staying on the throttle. So yeah, it's really nice and fun. This is a lot of fun, guys. I have to tell you, this is a lot of fun. It can easily be controlled. I believe that people that don't have too much skill or don't know how to push the car to the limit and stay stable, let's say, have a stability, then this is something that you will like a lot. For the guys that come from iRacing, I'm sure they will have something to say about it, because it's so different. Either this setup is like perfect for Daytona, or it's really easy. So you see me driving with no problems here. This is usually very tricky corner. Wheels don't lock, you just lose rear end on heavy braking, but you can solve this with brake bias settings. So I think this could easily be adjusted for each track. Here a little bit of oversteer, but nothing too serious. So this is so much fun. Okay, so let me switch to graphics and sound. I noticed on all of the, or most of the Automobilista 2 cars, that outside sound, so when you're watching the replay, is not on the same level like the inside in-car sounds. And these in-car sounds in this car, if I stop talking, we can hear it better. I don't know. Maybe the RSR on iRacing sounds better there. A little bit more volume, a little bit more, you know, that distinctive Porsche sound. This is like very flat, but yeah, you know it's Porsche, I can't say anything. You know it's Porsche, but yeah, maybe a little bit too flat, if you ask me. It doesn't scream as much as the one on iRacing does. The graphics, I cannot even compare the two. The surface on this track and the surroundings, the stands and everything else, it looks so much better. So much better on Automobilista too. I mean, also I like this baseline color palette that you have on AMS. I liked it from day one, especially on Nürburgring, but this track is really wonderfully done. So I will also show you how it looks in the night. Okay, and now we are on Daytona at night. What a wonderful track, so many lights near the track, giving you enough light. Very easy to drive at night. Maybe somewhere down the line we'll be able to drive 24-hour race, team race on Automobilista too. I would be so glad to join up in this car in particular. This is so much fun, guys, so much fun, unbelievable. I will only give you my opinion, and I think that iRacing has probably the better sound in that category, and if we are talking about graphics, then Automobilista 2 is obviously better in that department. Everything else is very much subjective. I really like how it handles in iRacing. It makes it very challenging to drive, but also it was so much fun to drive it on Automobilista 2. And since majority of people just want to have fun in sim racing, this car is really fantastic to drive. I recommend it in both sims. Do not wait anymore. Grab yourself iRacing or Automobilista and enjoy it as I did. Guys, what a great experience this really was. I was really keen to test it out myself when I saw the DLC came out. I've already seen a couple of videos from other people that were doing all kinds of comparisons, and what came to my mind is to compare it with something that I personally know, so iRacing, and one of the best cars there, also this Porsche, was something I really needed to do. I really hope you liked it, and I have to say, for all the people that are still not believing that Racing Studios are doing something right, you should test it out yourself. The price tag of the whole content for Automobilista 2 is really a fraction of the things that you have to pay when you start iRacing and maybe have a season on your belt. So really, guys, give it a shot, give it a try. Leave a comment if you already did. I really want to know what you think about this particular car. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. With these fantastic sights and sounds of Porsche RSR, I can only say to you, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!